Hi, and welcome to another edition of Mike Finds Things. This is like my fifth or sixth try to make this video. I tried to do it last week. There was construction across the street, construction next door, all sorts of gardening going on in my neighborhood, and I was not able to do that. Plus, well, the one take where I did get deep into it, my mother called, and then by the time I got done on the phone with her, it got noisy again here. So let's do this. For what I can tell, it's quiet. There's no construction going on. They're waiting on inspectors next door to approve something before they can continue their construction. So let's get back into it. This is where we find a lot of cool records at estate sales, thrift stores, wherever I can find them. Occasionally I buy out lots of records. This time I went to an estate sale east of here. I was on my way to the car show I shot in Palm Springs last week, and I stopped in and they said they had records. I got a bunch of 45s, stuff going from the 50s basically through the 80s, mostly on the later side of that grouping. I did get a cool LP Platter Pak with a record and music notes on it. You don't see the LP ones very often. Usually you see the 45 ones, and it's actually in really good shape. Didn't buy any LPs there, just the LP Platter Pak. So those are always worth picking up, especially if they're in good condition. And I got two of these metal ones, which you don't see the metal ones very often. Usually you see the cardboard ones. The LP one is one of the cardboard ones, but it's in good shape. So I got two metal Platter Paks. I like to get those, just in case you got to carry records around. It's a good way to do it. I'm sure just about anybody watching this channel owns a bunch of these already, but I will say I did buy those. I'm going to start. I will say there's a lot of Beatles and Elvis in here. So I'm going to open these up, and we're going to go right into this, including a couple rarities I found, or imports and things like that. A lot of interesting stuff. Nothing setting the world on fire value-wise. We'll start here. This one actually, it's worth a few bucks. I think these were going for about 30 or 40 bucks. It's an Australian pressing. It's a double 7-inch EP of the Magical Mystery Tour on Parlophone, and it's pressed in Australia. They did make these in the UK as well. I'll get the record out so you can see it. Of course, it's not the entire Magical Mystery Tour album, but it's in pretty good shape. I think one of the records had a little tiny scratch in it. Definitely not something I'm probably ever going to run across again. And it has like a nice booklet from the movie of different scenes. It's almost like a children's book, almost, how it's written. You see it's got like all these pictures, stills from the movie, everything. And then on the back flap it has the second record, and this one has Magical Mystery Tour, Your Mother Should Know, I Am the Walrus, Fool on the Hill Flying, and Blue Jay Way are the tracks on the two records. That's all the tracks that are in this set of two records, but kind of a neat one. Like I said, it is a mono pressing too, so it's sort of neat, because obviously usually you find the Magical Mystery Tour, the full album, which I do have. I have like a couple copies on vinyl. I do have a mono pressing of the US Magical Mystery Tour album myself, but sort of a neat find. Like I said, I think they were going for about 30 or 40 bucks on Discogs when I looked it up. Here's one for the punk fans, so going completely different. 7 Seconds Blast from the Past on Positive Force Records. So sort of weird. Like I said, I found stuff really all over the place at this sale, and this one is green vinyl. So I guess the first press wasn't green, but then one of the second, it's a later press. These were going, I think, for about 20 or 30 bucks. A lot of punk singles can be kind of collectible. We got, this one's probably going to become my daughter's. Peter Murphy Final Solution 7-inch with the sleeve. So all these look like these are in really good condition. This one is a UK pressing, I believe. Yeah, it's a UK pressing on Beggar's Banquet. So my daughter's gotten really into like Bauhaus and whatnot, so that's probably going to wind up in her collection. We got Killing Joke, War Dance, and Psych. This one is on Rough Trade. I believe this is a US press on Warner. There's the sleeve. So more 80s new wavy, dark wave type stuff for you. I swear we're going to get into some more rock and roll and even Elvis in this set. This one's neat. I didn't look up the value. It is a U.S. press, and it's on kind of like a hard. Those were all hard sleeve. This one's a hard 7-inch sleeve. U2 with B.B. King, When Love Comes to Town with Dancing Barefoot. This is not a 7-inch I've run across. It is a U.S. with the large hole, but it's in really nice shape. Great for U2 fans. I didn't look up the values on that one, but it's you know, it's probably worth more than a few dollars, I would say. This one comes up a lot. I find the LP of this a lot, especially in Southern California where new wave stuff's popular. Life in a Northern Town, The Dream Academy, a 7-inch US. So I found that with the picture sleeve. A lot of cool picture sleeve stuff. And speaking of Southern California, I got the Big Blue Wrecking Crew doing We Are the Champions and theme from New York, New York. This is from the 81 World Series when the Dodgers won the World Series. So it's actually got Steve Yeager, Rick Monday, Jay Johnstone, and Jay Royce from the Dodgers. So I'm a big Dodger fan. And if you go into one of my earlier videos, there's the Dodgers song that I found on a 45 by Danny Kaye, and that was original picture sleeve too. So I like to grab those cool like Dodgers related records when I could find them. Billy Idol, Rebel Yell. I said nothing setting the world on fire, but the 80s stuff is getting popular. People are collecting 80s now, and it's always nice to find stuff like that with the original picture sleeve. Here's one that's probably going to wind up in a jukebox. I still got a few jukeboxes that aren't working yet that need records when they are working. Michael Jackson, Rock With You. It's a reissue with Off the Wall on the other side, so a good AA record. I love AA records for the jukebox because obviously you only have like a certain amount of room. Plus they're not original pressings, so you're not worried about ruining anything that may have collectability in the future. Billy Idol, White Wedding, and Chrysalis. That's a good one for the jukebox. Not a AA, but Dead on Arrival's the B-side. But still, everybody knows that Billy Idol song. Here's a picture sleeve of the Beatles. We Can Work It Out with Day Tripper. And they put it in here, I'm guessing, because the picture sleeve's kind of falling apart. But it does have the record, and it's in good shape. I did not put these in any sort of order other than I put those punk records and the Magical Mystery Tour at the beginning. Here's a reissue Beatles, Long and Winding Road, with For You Blue on the other side. This is a later issue, so these are great. Like I said, these are great for jukeboxes because you're not worried about ruining an original. Fleetwood Mac, this is a AA. Hold Me with Gypsy on the other side, another one probably for the jukebox. A lot of these are in the original sleeves, and maybe were played once or twice. A lot of them are really, like most of them I checked, they were all in really nice condition. Higher Love, Steve Winwood, another 80s picture sleeve. I'm not going to get too far into those. Falco. Now, Falco, usually you find Rock Me Amadeus in the U.S. Occasionally you'll find Der Kommissar, which wasn't as big of a hit here. It wasn't as the After the Fire version, which was the remake, but the Falco version is definitely better. But I found a picture sleeve Jenny of Falco. You don't see this ever. In fact, if you don't find Rock Me Amadeus, usually from that album you find Vienna Calling. But this one is Jenny. Wasn't a hit here, but it's cool to find. It's a U.S. press with the big hole. So that was kind of a neat find. Kind of funny. My first CD I ever bought was Falco 3. So back. Now this is cool. This one's definitely going in the jukebox. It's Sweet with Ballroom Blitz, but it's a reissue where it has Fox on the Run on the B-side. So that's going to replace. I've got a copy of Fox on the Run in one of my jukeboxes, so that'll go in there. So I've got Ballroom Blitz as well. So I like finding those AA's where they reissued them. David Bowie, Changes, and Andy Warhol on the other side. So that'll probably wind up in a jukebox as well. I don't believe that's an original issue, so I don't feel bad. This is neat. It kind of looks like a QR code, but it's from the 80s, so it's not. It's Frankie Goes to Hollywood with Relax. So yeah, it does look like a QR code. I wonder if that would work as a QR code. But the 7-inch of Relax on I believe it's a U.S. press. Yeah, this one's a U.S. press. Frankie Goes, but check it out. It's like ahead of its time. It looks like a QR code. But we got 8 Days a Week by the Beatles. It's in an MGM sleeve for some reason, but on Capitol, obviously. I don't want to spoil the party. Like I said, a lot of these Beatles ones are really crisp. Some of the Beatles, they had the picture sleeves originally, and some they had the same record where it didn't come with the picture sleeve, if I remember right. I think when I started looking around. This is kind of interesting. I had a couple of these. Mary Poppins, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I have this where it's a 7-inch record. Now, I'm going to show you this. This is not a 7-inch record. It's a little guy, and it's supposed to be played at 78 RPM. So it's like a little, I don't know, it's about a 5-inch record. So that's kind of neat. And then I found in the same thing with the same size record, I've got Mary Poppins, A Spoonful of Sugar, which I've never come across this one. I do have the other one in the 7-inch version that plays at, I believe, 45. This one's the same way. It plays at 78. I like to find these Disney records sometimes that are. I'm still looking for the Enchanted Tiki Room one, but I know that it goes for it goes for about $85. But I still want to find the Enchanted Tiki Room 45. That's what I'm still kind of keeping an eye out for. So I'm a big Disneyland fan. Joe Jackson, not anything that's anything crazy, but Stepping Out. Original US 45. Let me double check. This one's US. Oh no, this one's an import. Let me see, where's this one from? I'm trying to read it now. Made in England. So this is a UK press of Stepping Out. I think I have a US press of that with the picture sleeve as well, but I believe it has a different picture on it. So that's kind of neat. It's a UK press of Stepping Out. It's a great Joe Jackson song. Here's one that'll be fun for the jukebox, and it's in the original Atlantic sleeve. New Shoes, I Can't Wait. Everyone remembers that song from the 80s. And they were like from Portland or something. I watched a thing about them recently on YouTube, and I always thought it was like because they're real popular in LA. I knew it was like a white girl from Portland singing that, which was really weird to me. I found this one before. It does come up. GTO, Ronnie and the Daytonas, so a little bit of a surf one. Hot Rod Baby. I gotta play this, see if it sounds better than my other copy. It is not perfect. My other copy looks like it's brand new and it plays like garbage, so I gotta see if that plays better than the last copy I found. For some reason it's got a Reprise sleeve, so that very nice company sleeve for Reprise records, so that'll probably wind up on something else. Huey Lewis in the News, Heart of Rock and Roll picture sleeve. That one, let's see, is it? I think I'm only going to check for, that's a US press. I think I'm only going to check for on overseas bands if there's not US presses from now on, because otherwise we're going to be here all day. Kiss the Dirt, I can see the hole through the light, but it says a US press. Kiss the Dirt, Falling Down the Mountain, NXS, picture sleeve. I like Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, so I found Forever Live and Die. I think this might be a promo because it's white label. And this Town on the B side. So that's nice because I like OMD. Can't tell if it's a promo. It is white label. Maybe a promo. I can't tell. Okay. Like I said, I didn't go totally through these. Most of these are not that expensive. The ones that are, I've found these before. I found one before in another video. Dick Clark All Time Hits. I think I had like one of the other volumes in there. These are fun because they have Dick Clark on them, and obviously he was a big name in rock and roll. And the cardboard sleeve's a little messed up. But this one's got Just a Dream, Silhouettes, Little Darling, Back to School Again, Don't You Just Know It, and then Get a Job. That's the track listing. I'll hold that up. And if you could pause it if you want to. But there you go. I always say that in my swap meet videos. I show the for sale sign. I say you can pause it and read it, and the people still don't understand what I'm talking about. The Beatles in an RCA Victor sleeve for some reason. If I Fell. This one's actually in really nice shape, and I love her. That's a good double A for a jukebox. So most of those aren't anything rare, so you could feel okay about putting them in a jukebox. Just I always say check. See if they're super. I've heard of people who don't care, they'll put super rare records in a jukebox, but it does tend to put some wear on them. This one's another OMD, So in Love. It's a US press. Check because it's a UK band. So US press of So in Love. which was another new wave classic. And going into some rockabilly, this one I looked it up was worth not that much. Boyd Bennett and his Rockets with Mumbles Blues on King, and the B-side they're doing Carl Perkins's Blue Suede Shoes on the other side. But it's sort of like a nice budget rockabilly record, and I don't think it was in that good. It was in okay shape. I did play it. I did play this one. It's a little. This one was actually, I think, out of the sleeve when I found it. The rest of most of the other ones had, I think pretty much just about all the other ones had sleeves on them, especially the ones with the original sleeves. So we got, this is neat. Here's another new wave classic, The Fanatic by Felony. And that was, the claim to fame to that one, it was on the Valley Girl soundtrack. And then The Girl Ain't Straight on the B-side on that one. This one's in really nice shape. In fact, I played this one the other day. That'll probably wind up in a jukebox. I got to make sure it's not like worth a bunch of money. I doubt it is, but that was a popular song locally, and of course, like I said, it's very well known for being on the Valley Girl soundtrack. Of course, most people know Modern English, I Melt With You is like the big song from Valley Girl, but this one I grabbed, and you'll see why, because I collect jukeboxes. Seaberg all-time favorites. It's just your generic, like they had those Seaberg records they used to send out as a set to put in your jukebox with like generic music, which I never really understood. But that's one of them. So it's kind of neat to have. That'll probably just wind up on the wall. So it's not usually anything anybody wants to actually listen to, but it's cool because it says Seaberg on the label. So I'll put it next to my Seaberg jukeboxes. I get around the Beach Boys with Don't Worry Baby. Not a rare record. It's on it's in a Capitol sleeve. That's a good jukeboxer right there. Double A side. Sometimes the B sides just wound up being A sides on a lot of the records back then. Here's a cool one with a picture sleeve. Monkees Pleasant Valley Sunday. Actually, I've got a picture sleeve. I got one of those jukeboxes where it takes the picture sleeve, a Wurlitzer from '65, and I've got Last Chain to Clarksville sleeve in it. Of course, I have the record in there. So, Pleasant Valley Sunday. I like to find this. I think the record was good on that one. So, let's have a look here. Somebody's walking by, so I hear a little background noise. That was actually in really nice shape. In fact, it looks like it's hardly been played. It's always fun to go to these sales. I might do a video on like how to find these sales and etiquette and stuff like that if you've not been to estate sales. Of course, things might be different here in Southern California versus other parts of the country. The fix, one thing leads to another 80s new wave. That is the U.S. I could see where the big hole's been imprinted in there. Here's one my ex-wife probably won't want. She's a big Duran Duran fan. Is there something I should know? Duran Duran. And then what's the B-side? So you got to watch the B-sides on these. Sometimes they have really good B-sides. Careless Memories is the B-side, so that's a good B-side on that one. I would almost call that a double A-side. Prince 1999 picture sleeve. Of course, Prince, I actually saw him live. How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore is the B-side on that one. So like I said, a lot of 80s stuff, like I said, is getting collectible. And now's the time to find these cool picture sleeves. Kids in America by Kim Wilde. Their new wave classic. That was, like I said, a lot of these look like they've never been played. I don't know if person bought it, played it once or twice. Sometimes you wonder if they were in the record business. Quiet Riot, Bang Your Head. All right, continuing, we got Culture Club, Church of the Poison Mind. Let me see if this is UK or no, it's US Press. So for all you like Boy George fans, so I like to find this stuff. Here's one that's been in the news lately. It's been the 40th anniversary of this one. It was a big deal. This is Frank and Moon Zappa with Valley Girl. So of course this was popular here in Southern California for obvious reasons. But that was neat to find. Frank and Moon Zappa. I don't know if this is original, but they've got stuff lined out here. Maybe that was part of the original. I have to look it up and see if that's part of the original design. It definitely seems like something that Frank Zappa would have done. So that's kind of neat to find that. Here's what I do find every once in a while. Don't You Want Me, Human League. Another Another UK band. This one's a US press. I do find these, and I do find the albums. Humanly was very popular new wave band. Tommy Two-Tone, Jenny, 8675309. It's a good jukeboxer. So it's one of those 80s songs everybody knows, just like this one, Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. I'm going to start going a little faster here on some of the more ones that are kind of common. Old Time Rock and Roll, Bob Seger. Till It Shines, the B-side, so it's not a double A. Stroke, Billy Squire. That's obviously a well-known song. Let's go through. We'll just start going through a little faster. Two of Hearts, Stacy Q. Not new wave, but a big 80s hit. I'm going to finish off this box. I'm just going to grab the rest out of this one, then we'll move on to the second box. So I really wish I'd have found some cool rockabilly or something this week. I don't know what it is, the sales have not been having good records lately. That's probably why I haven't really been doing the channel, plus I've just been so busy. West End Girls, Pet Shop Boys. I actually bought this single new back when it came out, and the one I had didn't have the picture sleeve back then. So this is one with a picture sleeve. There's a back-to-back, double A-sided Aha Take On Me with Sun Always Shines on TV as the B. And that'll probably wind up in a jukebox as well. Like I said, another couple 80 songs everybody knows. Crowded House, Don't Dream It's Over. Another popular 80 song. Let Him Go by Animotion. I think the other box has all the Elvis in it. But there's that. This one is Come Together by the Beatles with something. That's definitely not original press, so that's a good jukeboxer. Here's one, we're going to see a bunch of these. Hey Jude with Revolution on Apple. I actually have a few copies of these that I got at the sale, so there's going to be more of those. I'll just pile through those. I'll just mention when I find another one of those. Duran Duran, A View to a Kill. So this one appeals to Bond collectors as well as Duran Duran fans. And then, but kind of cool, Duran Duran with the picture sleeve from the Bond movie. Now we're going to move on to the second box. Here we go. Here's some Elvis. Too Much. This one's on our RCA Too Much, playing for keeps. You find those a lot. Bangles, Walk Like an Egyptian. Don't by Elvis Presley with I Beg of You on the other side on RCA Victor. Move this out of the way so I can get in there better. Thompson Twins, Nothing in Common. I don't know that's Thompson Twins as much, but I grabbed it because it was Toto with I'll Be Over You. Another group I've actually seen live. Everybody Have Fun Tonight by Wang Chung. Keep Your Hands to Yourself, Georgia Satellites. Everybody knows that song. Word Up by Cameo. Another well-known 80s song. So I've just been grabbing those when I could find them, the 80s picture sleeves or stuff that's in good shape. Especially if people start buying jukeboxes like me, they grew up in the 80s, that's the kind of stuff they're going to want in them. Let Love Open the Door, Pete Townsend. Rod Stewart, Young Turks. So this is stuff that everybody knows. This was a neat one because I have Tainted Love on 45. I got several copies where it's just Tainted Love. This is the longer version with Where Did Our Love Go? And the other version actually has Memorabilia as the B-side. This one has What as the B-side on that Soft Cell single. Elvis, It's a Long Lonely Highway with a picture sleeve. It's a little banged up, but it's RCA. The record isn't the greatest. I could show it a little bit. It's okay. It's shiny, but it's got a few scratches on it. People like those picture sleeves because obviously with Elvis on it. Can't Help Falling in Love with Rockahula Baby off Blue Hawaii, Elvis Presley on a picture sleeve. And that record is... That one's actually really nice. That one's got a nice record. That's cool. It's a good Elvis 45. This one's just the sleeve. Elvis, Follow That Dream. It was an EP with 4 songs. And some people just get these because they'll put them in a frame or something. The Elvis medley. So it's a bunch of Elvis songs squashed together. It's like those. You ever go to those car shows and they have like a DJ and they play those medley of oldies and it just sounds terrible because it's like 5 seconds of each song. It's like just play the songs, you know. But Elvis medley. I've never come across this before, but it probably won't get much play. But it's still an Elvis picture sleeve. It's Now or Never. Elvis Presley. I told you there was Elvis in here. Another RCA. Let's have a look here. It could clean up. Probably just needs a little bit of cleaning, but it's in good shape. So I think I was on the second day, so they were 25% off. They were like $1 each for 45s that day. I forgot to mention that. I did mention that the other times I tried to film this. And of course, I didn't mention it this time. We still got some more to go through. Hound Dog with Don't Be Cruel. That one comes up a lot. Obviously a big hit. Peace in the Valley EP, Elvis Presley as well. Let's go through some more. And we got Elvis as a later press of Hound Dog with Don't Be Cruel. It's probably like a 70s pressing, I would say. Another Elvis picture sleeve, I Feel So Bad. And Wild in the Country. Big Hunk of Love and My Wish Came True, Elvis in his uniform from the Army. Let's see, we got soundtrack EP soundtrack, Jailhouse Rock. This one's got some tape, some masking tape holding it together. Another version of Peace in the Valley EP right there. And moving away from Elvis, we got the Beatles again. So we got Yesterday and Act Naturally, for all you Buck Owens fans. That was actually in really nice shape, the record is. Record's like super clean. And I think we have more Beatles and such. We got one little last stack of 45s here. Here's our copy of that Revolution, Hey Jude. There's a couple of them in here. All You Need Is Love. This picture sleeve has seen better days, but Baby You're a Rich Man with All You Need Is Love. You Can't Do That and Can't Buy Me Love. Let's see what we got. This one's a little worn, but I Feel Fine with She's a Woman. It looks like it's got a lot of play. You had another Hey Jude Revolution. There's like, I can't remember. I think there was a couple more. There was one that actually had a scratch and I took it out. Van Halen, Oh Pretty Woman. Band from Pasadena, locally here. In fact, they just dedicated in the new park they added, they put a stage dedicated to Van Halen in that part. Oh Pretty Woman. Another Revolution, Hey Jude. Like I said, there's a few of those. And last but not least, Paul Anka, Put Your Head on My Shoulder with a picture sleeve. So nothing setting the world on fire, crazy, rare-wise. Maybe the couple of punk ones, and maybe that Magical Mystery Tour EP. I'm still looking for stuff when I can. Like I said, I'm running the other channel, which is my name, Mike Frankovich, where I do car shows. So that takes up a lot of my time. I'm going to try to do one of these every other week now, since doing it every week was kind of being a little tedious. But I'll do what I can. So we'll go out and find stuff, and I'll keep bringing it to you. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.